Exactly 1 month ago today, Massachusetts' highest court issued a ruling ordering that a higher standard of proof be used when classifying someone as a level 2, that's moderate risk, or level 3, high risk of reoffending. As the Herald first reported last week, that means hundreds of people will be taken off the registry and information not available to the public while their status is redetermined. That's led to a lot of concern around the state. The chair of the state's sex offender registry, Kevin Hayden, joins me now. Kevin, thanks so much for being here. How many sex offenders are we talking about here potentially?
About 500 sex offenders are impacted by the decision.
And just to be clear, these are all people who have been convicted of sex crimes, the vast majority of whom are either already level 2s or level 3s or have yet to be classified. Is that correct?
All of them have been classified at this point.
2 or 3?
2 or 3. They could be a 1. It could be a 1 who's appealing.
Okay.
So if you've been classified as a 1, 2, or 3, and you are appealing your decision either in Superior Court or in the Appellate Court, you're affected by this decision. The others that are affected are some that haven't been classified yet, because if we were in the process of classifying you while this decision came out, but we hadn't finally classified you, you get a new hearing.
So pending this hearing, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, level 2s and level 3s, information is available to the public. Level 1 is not, correct?
Level 1 is not, exactly.
So someone who was a level 3 before, there are a couple of examples in the Herald, an offender convicted of sexually assaulting a 9-year-old girl on multiple occasions, and a man convicted of touching a 4-year-old girl as other children watched and she pleaded for him to stop. Neighbors could have found out about those people's crimes and whereabouts, but until you resolve this thing based upon the SJC decision, they can't find out anything.
They will not be able to find out. So once they request a new hearing and are granted that new hearing, they will enter an unclassified status, and whatever level of dissemination is being visited upon them at this particular point will discontinue until the final decision.
And we should be clear, this is not your fault. You're implementing this. This is the SJC that made this decision.
That's right.
So I assume you reach out to the victims of people who committed these crimes, yes? What do you say to them?
We do. We tell them what the SJC decision was and what the unfortunate result is in terms of being unclassified.
And what kinds of feedback have you gotten from some of them?
It's varied. Some are very upset. There's weeping and gnashing of teeth, and others understand and seem to be unaffected. It really runs the gambit.
So what do you say to someone sitting at home who says, wait a second, I have 2 young kids. I may be living next door to a level 3 sex offender who molested, assaulted young children, and I have no right to have this information until you comply with the SJC decision? What do you say to them?
That's correct. I mean, we say that we're going to move with all deliberate speed to get these decisions done. We're as disappointed by the decision as anybody, but we have no choice but to honor it, and we will. Governor Baker, who actually back in October of last year, for the first time in many, many years, fully constituted our board with all of our board members, has committed to providing us additional staff, and we're going to get to the business of doing these decisions.
Does this, let me call it unclassification, which I know is not a word, but the status these hundreds are found in, does this affect how they're supervised to, parole, probation, that sort of thing?
It doesn't.
So it purely affects their classification and the public's right to know, is that correct?
And the level to which they're disseminated, yes.
So 500. How long, in the best case scenario, how long until you and your colleagues are able to comply with the new standard of proof established by the SJC, which is a higher standard of proof to classify them, let's say, at high risk? How long is it going to take you to catch up with this backlog?
Well, we're still in the process of analyzing that and looking at it, so we don't really know for sure.
What's your best guess?
A couple years.
So I'm sorry to do that. So again, that person we just talked about can be living next to a convicted, serious level 3 sex offender and not have any right to know that he is living there for as much as 2 years potentially?
For as long as we have to redo the hearing, yes.
Now, very quickly, could the legislature hear this and say, we're going to give you extra staff because we can't allow these people to be at this kind of risk?
They could.
And that would speed up the process?
That would speed up the process.
Yikes, good luck.
Thank you.
Work fast.
Appreciate it.
Nice to see you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Bye-bye.
time.